So we want to make a little distinction here between medicinal herbs and culinary herbs. So we're not tearing like ginkgo leaves into our food. So those are going to have like some medicine, and so the farther along the kind of medicinal chain, the greater the likelihood you're going to have some side effects. There's or potential for side effects. But those things that we put in our food that we're used to, that we've been eating a lot, you can use in pretty decent amounts and get lots of benefits from. I do love ginkgo though, and some patients with attention deficit disorder can be very, very helpful. Rosemary, that's one of my favorites. Memory, boosts acetylcholine. Back in the past, in the ancient Greeks, they used to wear it around their heads when they would study, so that they would learn from it. And there seems to be some proof that they are studying it now to see if it helps with Alzheimer's disease. Ginger. Ginger's a wonderful, wonderful, like I said, I did my master's dissertation on that. And what we see is that herbs that actually help the belly, and this is that gut-brain connection, the things that help the belly help the brain. So it's that soothing. It actually helps. For those of us where we get like, it's not quite flowing downwards, ginger has this kind of capacity to help the digestion just be smoother and actually help you digest better. We're often put on like proton pump inhibitors and other things that suppress our acid, which actually oftentimes we don't have, we're not getting enough of the acid in our body, and so we're not breaking it down, and then we take these things that really suppress it, which hurt our ability to absorb things like calcium and iron, among other things, and vitamin B12, and we're causing kind of things like increasing your risk to things like osteoporosis as well. So I love ginger and things. Lavender, it's wonderful. It's really great, improves mood, decreases anxiety. I often tell patients it's a little bit off the cooking topic, but those diffusers for aroma, they actually have a couple solid studies that show for patients, healthy patients, and they did one with patients with dementia, reduced agitation, boosted mood, increased calmness. It actually affects the same system in our brain. For those who are familiar with certain drugs like Xanax and clonazepam and these kind of things called the benzodiazepines, they affects the GABA system, and they found that both lavender and its cousin down there, lemon balm, affect the GABA system. They actually help it, so they give that sense of calmness in the brain, and it's one of my actually go-to herbs in my clinic for people with generalized anxiety disorder is lemon balm, and I'll add the lavender component to it as well. So very, very, very powerful there. So I think generally what I like to do if I'm going to sweeten, if in transition, if you want to have more things sweetened, this is like a culinary, we're adding some extra stuff to it. We put some dates in. What I would normally do is I'd put some of the water on top of it, or put like hot water on top of it already, and then let it soak for a while. We don't have time to necessarily do that here, but I would just let it soak so that it softens the date, so when we're going to blend it, it blends much easier in that regard. But we're not going to have that much time, so I'm just going to have to just say, pretend like I just soaked it for a while. What you do is you ever have like those little kettles that boil water really quickly, pop that right in there, pour it on top, and then you can go do other things. Let it sit for about 10 minutes, then you can put it in and it will blend more creamy that way. So actually, I'm going to fish this out. I don't want to put too much water in at first. So this is also going into fluid management, is that you don't want to put too much fluid at first or it won't blend well. So, ooh, that was nice. Okay. What's up? Thank you for telling me that. I'm going to pop it over here. Relaxing tea. So relaxing bedtime tea. So water, medjool, regular dates, dried chamomile flowers, lavender flowers, and ginger root. You're welcome. So what we're going to do here is take this. Probably won't need this. Hopefully this might jump around a little bit, but oh well. Okay. So I'm just going to start slow, because if I do this right now, it's going to jump all around in my hand, and it's not going to be that pleasant. Do we have that little lid? I'll just keep it like this. This will keep it so my hand doesn't have to get too much involved in this. So we're going to be straining this, so we don't have to be so perfect with this. Okay, so you get the idea. We blend up this part, and then I'm going to put in some more of the water here. Make sure it's nice and blended. turn it down. Always remember to turn it down. How many times you do that? I don't know, people who use Vitamix and they forget and shoots up right in your face. All right, so we got this going on here. So now we got this nice date water here. We put this over here. I'm going to lower this. We probably don't. I'll just put this in there. Why not? So what we're going to do now is when you're doing this, when you're doing teas, when it comes to like roots, it's kind of like the same thing, very similar principle with the roasting and the different times and everything like that, depending upon whether it's hard foods or softer foods and all that. So when you're dealing with like roots and stems and all that stuff like that, they generally need a little bit more time to infuse. So you don't want, when you're dealing with flowers like chamomile and lavender, you don't want to cook the heck out of them because you'll get the bitter components in them instead and it won't taste as good. So what you do is you just put the ginger in here. You're going to put the stove on here. And this was diced, but you know what? You could, if you're not, you don't even. What I do with the ginger, I don't even peel it. I get the organic. I wash it and I just chop the heck out of it, so you don't have to worry about because it's just a pain in the butt, you know, to kind of do all that kind of stuff. You're going to be straining it out, so don't even waste your time on that. You can easily do that, and then you just fish it right out when you strain it. That will save you some time. Of course. Use whatever you want. Yeah, these are two of the common ones. But again, as I mentioned, lavender in the studies, but chamomile, German chamomile in particular, has been shown with generalized anxiety disorder to be very, very helpful. Helps deepen sleep. Helps with and it's interesting. If you drink it during the day, it doesn't seem to kind of cause like you to get tired. It actually just feels you just feel this like calm, but not feeling sedated, which is actually a very important property to be able to have in something, because oftentimes sedation and calmness go hand in hand. And so if you still want to be alert, so I often, people with anxiety, I like them to drink a little bit of a chamomile, even in the morning, with a little bit of lavender, because they have that acetylcholine in the lavender boosting, and just like with a rosemary or any of the other herbs, and then that will actually help boost the brain as well. They're also present in chamomile, by the way. So basically what I would do here is I would infuse this for a while, get this going for about 5 or 6 minutes, maybe even longer, depending upon how strong I want the ginger taste to go on. We're going to pretend that's happened there. Then as this gets into a full, what I want to do is get it into, you know, close to, I don't want to actually get it to a full boil. Just like with green tea, you want to cook, you don't want to go higher than usually about 180 degrees Fahrenheit with green tea, or you get more of the bitter components, and you don't want to boil the hell out of it. And oftentimes when people switch over the green tea, they do it like black tea, and that's why it doesn't taste so good. You know, it's actually supposed to be just gentle and mild. Be very gentle, and also with flowers and all that stuff. So, let's see here. At the end. So let's just pretend this got up to a decent temperature. I turn it off. I'm off the heat. I'm not doing any more. I add the chamomile flowers, again, we mentioned before. And then we add, I love that, yeah. And you add the lavender here.
Where do you buy chamomile and lavender?
One of my favorite places to get it loose like this is a place called Mountain Rose Herbs. It's a .com, yeah. So as an herbalist, that was one of the places that I go to. So for like bulk herbs and everything, they're one of the better ones. MountainRoseHerbs.com. Yeah. They have wild-crafted or organic herbs, and they're one of the higher quality ones. So I generally want to know the source, though. Even when I called them to find out, like, how do you handle it? What do you get toxicology reports? Where are you getting it shipped from? And they sent it to me immediately. So they're very good in that, like, customer service category.
When you ask where do you find them, it comes up Mountain Rose.
Right. So then basically you would steep this for about 3 to 4 minutes. Not too long. You don't want to get, like, again, if you do flowers too long, you'll get that bitter component. And then I guess we have a strainer here. And we'll just put this over here. And we'll just pretend like we steeped it for that time so I can give you more time for Q&A. So then you've steeped it, and now you just kind of pour it in slowly. Be careful on that so you don't burn yourself. And then you could just take the back of your spoon and just kind of push on it a little bit. And then put it here. And then you take your tea and you pour it over here. It smells great. It actually has a really. It's actually the first time I did it with dates.
Usually drink it at night.
I'm sorry?
Usually drink it completely empty.
I drink it completely empty, but now that I'm tasting this, I actually might do this once a month. It's nice because it actually gives it a little body to it, a little extra body, which I kind of like. But it kind of like, I don't know, it's just a regular. But there you go. So, and I think that's it.